Public Information and Marketing Committee. We talked about the gaslight advertising, but there's another item on the agenda. That's a policy with respect to using the village's, I think it's 4 kiosks,
Right.
the 4 public kiosks. So, one of you provide an update?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, there's Main Street has been maintaining both the process for putting things in the kiosk as well as administering the really unwritten policy about what does and doesn't go in there. So Main Street has found it to be pretty cumbersome because people are coming almost on a daily basis and they're constantly running to the kiosk. So they've asked this committee to see if we would take it over, and we and the volunteers in the committee have offered to do so, to both post information in the kiosks, take old information down, and administer it. And so we are putting a process in place where someone will submit a request to an email address, give all the details. It will be reviewed against a policy that is being created, very similar to the guidelines you saw this evening on the gaslight advertising. No inappropriate materials and no religious content.
And it has to be an event happening in town.
In the village,
because
absolutely.
we had one situation where someone who is a resident was very upset when his advertisement was allowed because he wanted to have, it was about an event in another town, but he wanted to post it in our kiosk. So those are the things we're going to manage.
So there's two.
Who's managing it? The Main Street?
Main Street does it today, but the Public Information and Marketing Committee is planning to take it over, to take it up, to help Main Street simply. Volunteers we're talking now on a semi-monthly basis, would go to the 4 kiosks, but there would be, a process is going to be written that you must get. If you want something in the kiosk, you have to get it by, I'll make up a date, the 10th of the month, and then it'll be in there from the 15th through the 30th. I'm just making up dates, but it'll be specific. And if you don't get it by the 10th, then it goes in the next wave. So just like the school district, if you want to put something in someone's backpack, you have to get it to the school district by a certain date. So there's a process being put in place that's being documented, as well as a policy as to what would and will not be accepted. We don't want handwritten flyers. We don't want offensive material. And as Trustee Davis Ford said, we want things only that are happening in the village.
So what
concern it goes back to the policy issue. I don't want to create a new and open up a new venue to the public to start collecting more information to go up without having a policy in place and adopted by the Board of Trustees in terms of what can actually be posted on there. The difference being is in terms of right now we have a contractual relationship with Main Street, and we've kind of, through my office, we've delineated the parameters, and we certainly have the right to do that. But when dealing with personnel, we don't have the right. Dealing with volunteers, we don't have the right to do that. The Board of Trustees would have to set a policy for them to follow. So that's been my aversion is not about setting up the system. It's a day away. It's a matter and turning it on. I don't want to turn it on until everything's in place for it. That's been my concern.
Okay.
And I have some reservations, and I don't know, I could be reaching here, but I just feel like this is so. I feel like I'm going back to Germany, Russia, where the government is in control of the information that gets out there to the public, and I'm not really feeling that we should have that direct control. I like the fact that a Main Street or somebody else is doing it. I don't want it to become political. I can't say that it won't become political if X, Y, and Z's on this committee and they have a group of people. I really would like us to kind of take a step back and not be so overbearing and control and big brotherish over information.
You know what? That
goes along with it.
What's the next one?
And by the way, Stacy, your comment before about comparing a policy about hanging leaflets in a kiosk to laws passed in Germany, I found that offensive and insensitive, just so you know.
Oh, you did? Okay,
it was incredibly inappropriate.
You know what? I could have said something else. So if you'd like to talk to me about that.
I'm telling you now, I found that offensive.
Michael, this is a public forum. That's something you take me aside in private and have a discussion on.
You spoke
as
in
an
public.
adult.
You spoke in public,
well,
Stacy.
It was not.
It was offensive.
Okay, we'll have a discussion.
And insensitive.
Are we advertising that? Because if we are, you're making assumptions that are wrong. So let me say that in public, okay?
All right. Let's go on to the Environmental Commission and
This isn't
Energy
your
Policy
boxing ring,
Committee update.
You started, Stacy.
Trustee Levison.